Hey there, bibliophiles and those raising bibliophiles. Without ratings and warning labels, knowing which books are appropriate for your children to read is like navigating wild terrain without a map and a compass. I don't know about you, but I have been burned more than once giving my child a book that I thought was clean and appropriate for him to read. I'm a fellow mom, educator, reading specialist, and literary enthusiast trying to find great books for my children and yours to read. So if you're looking for a real review from a mom with a biblical worldview, then welcome and enjoy this week's book review. So this week's book review is Growing Home by Beth Ferry, and the art is by the Fan Brothers. And this is an adorable middle grade fantasy novel about a goldfish, two houseplants, and a spider who learn the importance of friendship. This book is recommended ages 6 through 9, and so it definitely is going to sort of fit for those earlier readers who may be ready for some chapter books. This story is absolutely adorable. Before I go any further, I'm just going to read a little bit of the opening. There's a prologue to the story. And this is just to give you a little taste of some of the illustrations that are included. Number 3, Ramshorn Drive, was a modest, respectable-looking house. It didn't have a set of fearsome stone lions like the house to the left. It didn't have a fancy circular driveway like the house to the right. There were no rams to be found there, no sheep either, which was perfectly acceptable to the owners of the house, who were not really fond of rams or sheep or animals in general. The only thing to note about number 3, Ramshorn Drive, was the big oak tree in the front yard and what went on inside. I can promise you it won't be what you are expecting, unless, of course, you're expecting a story about 2 plants, a spider, and a magical fish tank. Oh, and cheese puffs. Lots and lots of cheese puffs. If you're expecting that, then this is the story for you. And then the story itself is broken up into 3 parts. You have the beginning, the middle, and the end. Super, super adorable. Jillian loves her plant Ivy and has a big surprise for Ivy when she comes home from school, which is a new companion, Ollie, who's a violet. Ivy is unsure of this new friend at first because of Toasty the goldfish. Meanwhile, a spider with a broken leg is sort of the intellectual companion who's arrived at the Tupper family home when the parents recently acquired a new desk that he was sleeping in. The Tupper family are antique dealers, which accounts for the unusual octagonal fish tank that Toasty inhabits. Ivy is known to everyone in the house to be Jillian's favorite, and so Toasty is pretty grumpy. He's a grumpy little goldfish, and he believes that Jillian doesn't care for him. So Ollie has been lonely and isn't quite sure how to integrate with the new family, and Arthur the spider is unsure if he plans to even stay with the Tupper family or if he wants to return to his library. So Ollie has come from being a plant at Jillian's school in the nurse's office, so he has lots of, experiences from being there. In the midst of all of this, the Tupper family is definitely having some financial problems, and they need to sell some special items in order to get on the right side of all their bills. So this brings someone in who attempts to burglarize their home for the special octagonal fish tank that has some special elements, some magic elements, where it can make the plants do some special things. And even Arthur has some special abilities due to an interaction. So the friends ultimately have to work together in order to save the Tupper family and Toasty. I absolutely adored this story. The narration is well done, as the narrator does occasionally break third person, switches to second person to involve the reader. This is also definitely for younger readers. The author introduces some great vocabulary, and then she defines the meaning of those words within the story. And most importantly, you have this theme of friendship. So there were so many great quotes and character development as the characters are learning what friendship means and how to be a good friend. So I'm going to share just a couple of those quotes with you, but I do want to encourage you to please go to my website at holdingsteadfastreaders.com to get some more details about this book. But some of the quotes that I thought were pretty good for this story is on page 57. You have Arthur, the spider, and he says he quite believed that she, Ivy, would make a good friend. And to be honest, he had never had a real, if somewhat vain and talkative friend before. And he's speaking of Ivy there. And then we also have quotes where we see the characters really exploring friendship and considering things from other people's perspectives. So Arthur, again, he's feeling a bit sad and left out after witnessing how Jillian cares for Ivy and Ollie. And then he says, but for some reason, this made him look at Toasty. What would it be like to live in a tank? Did Toasty ever feel left out? And so that's a quote from him. And then another quote that we have towards the end of the story says, feeling pretty or special or favored was nothing compared to the feeling of having friends, of being a friend. So as you can see, there's great themes and messages in the story, particularly about friends, and it's done in a cute and fun way. And so for young readers, reading about how to navigate friendships, to consider how they might be feeling and kind of be exposed a little bit to that is definitely great themes, great things you want your children reading. I absolutely love the talking plants, Ivy and Ollie. So if you have an elementary reader, probably second grade and up, I would definitely put this book on their to read list. It's cute, it's engaging, it's reinforcing good themes about friendships, presents great opportunities for parents to maybe talk with their children about being a good friend and how the plants are trying to be friends with each other and with Toasty and all of those things. But Growing Home, absolutely adorable. I love the title, just the story itself. From reading a little bit about the author, this was her first middle grade novel. She had done some picture books primarily. So hope that's helpful to you as a parent trying to figure out some good books for your children to read. And I hope that you'll join me next week for another book review.